What up, what up, what up, what up? Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. If you are just jumping on, this is your first time with us live, I want you guys to do me a favor and put hashtag first timer. If you're watching us by replay, put hashtag replay in the chat. And we want to also know where you tuning in from. So where in the world are you? Where in the country are you? Where on the globe are you? What's the weather like in your city? And let us know. Or your country, for that matter. Or your state. Cherie is in the background cooking coffee or making cooking. Making, cooking coffee. Same thing. Same thing. Are we getting technical this morning? Is that what we doing, babe? I mean, I'm just saying. I will say it was just a Freudian slip. What's up, Nikkei? We're going to bring y'all a little bit into our craziness. I know that Cherie, we talk a lot about, that we got a pretty decent relationship, but there's a reason why that is, one, and it ain't always pretty. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to get everything going for Instagram this morning. By the way, guys, if you are on Instagram, do me a huge favor and go over and I'm getting ready to do it now. That's what I'm working on. I'm talking while I'm moving, talking, doing the whole thing at the same time. So I need you guys who are on Instagram to go over and do me a huge favor and follow us on Instagram at Breakfast with the Brookses. That's our Instagram channel. And I certainly would love to get you guys on. We're getting ready to go live there as well.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
For those of you guys who are just... Why you got me looking up your nose? That's nasty.
I'm making sure I don't have no...
I don't want to see
Before
your
we go
book.
public for the people see me.
Man, well, listen, let me say this. I'm not interested in seeing your boogies. So if you can do me a favor, don't make me have to look at that part. All right. So now we're going to go live, guys, real quick on Instagram. For those of y'all who are on Instagram, if you're not, get there because we're getting ready to go live. Hold on one second. Should we go ahead and man the thing? Deirdre, what's up? What's up? What's up?
Man, what?
I don't know what it is. Jonesboro is so beautiful.
Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning.
What's going on, guys? So we get ready to go live on Instagram. For those of you guys who are on Instagram, welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses IG.
Is it going to be too loud with the window open?
I don't think so. Y'all let us know. Let us know. Let us know. Let's go ahead and take our picture down so everybody can see me.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
I don't like this whole edge thing.
You don't like the edge thing?
I feel like I'm trying to make baby edges. That's the way the hairstyle was supposed to be.
Is that the way the hairstyle? Did you see that on Instagram or YouTube?
On YouTube.
See.
I did something different with I like my hair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I like this whole edge thing.
Gotcha.
I'm 12.
You feel like you 12? Well, you look like you 12.
Trying to have baby hairs.
You've been looking.
Guys.
You just started looking 15 like 2 years ago. What's going on, Caution 2? Caution 2. What your name is? Is that Kim? I think Kimberly. Welcome to Breakfast with the Brooks.
Can you tell us your government name?
Put your government name in the chat on Instagram.
Hey, YouTube.
I love it. So, guys, really quickly, we're gonna get started here. I'm trying to get my camera angle. We got a little bit different angle this morning on Instagram. Huh? And what? Why are you looking all crazy? Looking all simple, Mrs. Listen, for those of you guys who are just jumping in, my name is Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I am a coach, and she is the Mrs. Trippin this morning.
I'm Cherie Brooks Jr., author, speaker, relationship, and life balance coach. And it's great to be with you guys this morning.
We're talking crazy. We sound a little crazy. I'm getting my notes.
We don't have no notes today.
We do have a few notes.
No
we do have a few notes. We do. I just want to kind of talk about a couple things, but we're not going to get serious in it.
No notes.
Okay, anyway.
No notes.
We're going to start a new subject today. Y'all see her running things? Kim, what's up? Y'all see her running things? We're going to start a new subject this morning, and we're going to talk about mental health. So how many of you guys, by show of hands, you've struggled with mental health on some level throughout the course of your life? Put that first time joining ever.
Good morning. Welcome,
is it Nichelle C8?
If you can, let
Did I
us
say
know
that right?
your government name
Is that
and where you're joining us from. But welcome, welcome, welcome.
Nichelle? It's good
I
to
don't like
have
that all
you.
the way over there because it's like I'm looking all the way over here.
It's okay, baby. We'll have to fix it forward because
Okay.
right now we're just in a situation.
So, as Glenn was saying, this is mental health awareness month. One of
I'm
the
gonna put my
months that
glasses
they
on
have is
because
mental health
I
awareness
need to
month.
get my attitude
And today we're going to have a not a real deep conversation, but want to talk about the effects of mental health on individuals, especially in light of this whole COVID situation, and how what are some things you can do to not
crack up and
not lose it during
completely.
this time. For those of you that don't know, anybody that's ever read my book, The Journey from Rejection to Significance, I talk about my journey dealing with depression all of my life. Started very young. As a teen, first started displaying signs of depression. But for as long as I can remember, I've struggled with depression. And it's gotten to points where, it's gotten really bad.
Yeah.
But I've learned to manage it for the most part, but it is something I have to manage. It's something that I have to manage ongoing. But there are certain things that I've learned that help me, especially even in stressful times, because I realized for me, I also have experienced
I had to make an attitude adjustment.
Okay. I've struggled with several, I've experienced several traumas over the course of my life. And because of that, there are certain things that trigger me. Like, I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area.
The DMV.
In the DMV.
In Maryland.
In Maryland. I grew up in Southeast and then moved to Maryland.
That's South with an F. Southeast.
Southeast.
There's a way you got to say that, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep interrupting. My bad. You gonna let your... What? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Damn. And so, what was I saying? Oh, okay.
Talking about growing up in Southeast.
No, I was talking about traumas. And so, having left D.C., went into the military, went into the Marine Corps, traumatic. Then
the Marine Corps was traumatic, or going into the Marine Corps was traumatic?
The Marine Corps was traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All my Marines, y'all know. Y'all understand.
But then returning home, we were actually living in PG County, Maryland, during 9/11, which happens to be Glenn's birthday.
Yeah, that would be my birthday.
But when the World Trade Center got hit, and where I worked was not far from the Pentagon, and was able to feel the impact of that.
Meaning literally?
Yes.
Like the earth moved?
Yes.
Wow.
So over the course of my life, I've experienced several traumas, is basically what I'm saying. So even like now, dealing with what we're dealing with COVID and, the many horrific things that happen in our world, those can all be triggers for individuals that suffer from any form of mental illness. That's my whole point.
Yeah.
That there are several things, things that normal people, I won't say normal people because I'm normal.
You're normal.
People that don't struggle with mental health issues can deal with a little easier, or people who haven't experienced trauma can deal with it a little easier, because a lot of times people have not been diagnosed or don't see themselves as having mental health issues. But if you've experienced any level of trauma in your life, you can be susceptible to depression. You can be susceptible to anxiety. And there are things that you can do in the course of... What are you doing? Why do you keep shifting?
Baby, I'm thinking you do what you do. I'm doing what I do. Y'all see how we do? I'm letting y'all know that sometimes in this COVID situation, you get a little distracted, and if you're not careful, you'll take stuff personal. Don't take nothing personal this morning, boo. Just keep going. I got you.
And so there are certain things that you can do to just fortify yourself emotionally, mentally.
Absolutely.
And so one of the things that for me that I found as one of the biggest stress relievers, one of the biggest ways for me to not take life so serious, not allow those triggers when trauma happens, when bad things happen, is to laugh.
Right.
And for a long time, for years, I did not laugh. I was so pent up. I was so frustrated. I wouldn't allow myself to be silly. I wouldn't. I always took myself so serious. I couldn't be vulnerable in that area. But dealing with this dude here.
Yes.
Over time.
Yes, y'all. To the beat, y'all. You don't stop.
I was able to find my inner...
Everybody, somebody, anybody. Scream.
And it often, I'm goofy. It comes across, my timing is off.
Her timing is way off many times.
But sometimes I think you just gotta
Your
laugh.
comedic timing needs work.
well, that's why I'm not a stand-up comedian.
That's exactly why you don't get paid for that.
I don't get paid for that. But sometimes you just gotta laugh at yourself. You gotta make light of things. You have to learn to laugh. You have to find joy in whatever your situation is. There's always something that can bring you joy. There's always some ray of hope. And you gotta find that, and you gotta embrace that, and just be silly.
Be silly. So I want to talk a little bit about being silly. I got a question. Favorite comedian. Favorite comedian. Put it in the chat. Favorite comedian. Put it in the chat. Favorite comedian. Put it in the chat. Favorite comedian. And why? And why?
Today, I would say Kevin Hart. Because I love his rhythm. Okay. He's just he can just be telling a story.
Right.
He's just goofy. He's just stupid.
Right.
He's just I would also say on the more brash side would be a Dave Chappelle.
On the more brash side, why do you say Bernie Mac? Oh my God!
Oh, yeah.
I know that's America. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now.
But one of my all-time favorites would have been Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Mork from Ork.
Yes, because that was the goofy me.
Really?
Yeah.
Nerdy. Quirky.
Yeah. And even the different roles that he played,
oh my God.
Like out the box.
Yeah.
You know, and it's ironic.
Cat Williams is my dude. Cat Williams is a problem.
Yeah, but it's ironic with Robin Williams. For most of you probably know that he suffered from mental illness.
Yeah.
And that oftentimes people that do suffer from mental illness, they can portray themselves one way. But they're really hurting inside. And for him, laughter was healing for him. So that him being a comedian, that was a way that he coped. Yeah.
You know, what's funny was because as much as laughter for a lot of people is a coping mechanism, I think that most people don't understand that there's actually a chemical thing that goes on in your body that allows you to sort of cope. It releases those endorphins and stuff. And so what's funny?
I was going to say dopamines again.
Yeah, it's okay. You Y'all see what I'm talking about? Listen, y'all see what I'm talking about?
They don't understand.
Right. Simple, funny.
We were in one of our group meetings, and I was trying to explain it, and I was talking about dopamines and something else.
Right.
I was saying the wrong term.
Right. She meant endorphins and some. Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about drugs today. So it.
Dopamine's not a.
Let's not talk about stuff that we haven't studied. And
is that a drug?
I don't, babe. These some natural stuff that goes on in people's bodies, and when you laugh, it makes you feel better.
Endorphins.
Yes, though that's the word.
It's hormones inside of your body.
Right, but we don't want to because it sounds like you're gonna go get high or something. We're not talking about that part. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, because she struggled with that too. So listen. Listen, guys. Listen, IG, y'all are lit. Do me a favor, cigarettes. Cigarettes is an inside joke. So I got my sister is on Instagram. Candace, she's an idiot. So listen. She and I were 11 months and 28 days apart. So we've been cutting up since way back. Like everything is funny. So when we was growing up, and I want y'all to get your favorite family stories. We're gonna talk about our family this morning. And so this is all impromptu. Favorite funny family stories. Real quick, my paternal grandmother, my dad's mother, right? She would sit on the front porch, South Baltimore, Cherry Hill, and get the picture. She drank Pepsi like it was going out of style, out of a mayonnaise jar filled with ice. Y'all got the picture. 6-pack of what?
You said mayonnaise.
It's a mayonnaise jar.
You didn't say mayonnaise. Mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise without the AO in it?
Yeah.
We didn't say it like that. We said mayonnaise. Mayonnaise.
You was all proper.
Mayonnaise. We didn't see.
You was proper.
We wasn't from Southeast, man. Y'all see, we're not gonna get off course. I'm telling my story. Y'all hear her? Drink your coffee and leave me alone. So this is my story. You weren't there. Let me tell it. So
but I've heard it.
Right. I'm trying to connect to what she said. Cigarettes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Y'all see, I'm getting serious because she's getting funny, and it was bad timing. Just saying. So right. So check this out. Real quick. We didn't live in South Baltimore at the time. We were living in the county. We would come up. I was driving by the time I'm like 16. We would come up. One time we came up to my grandmother's house. She was sitting on the front porch as usual, drinking her Pepsi out of the mayonnaise jar, right? Full of ice. And my cousin, I have a cousin also named Glenn. Our family is a little different. So Glenn lived with my grandmother during that time. So Glenn came up. He was down at some friend's house. He came up to the house as I was driving up, and we were both walking up to the porch together. And I was like, "Hey, Grandma!" And then my grandmother dipped snuff. So get the picture. She would be sitting on the porch in the summertime. It's hot. She got her Pepsi down on the bottom, right? Mayonnaise jar full of ice, dipping snuff spittoon on the other side. This is a real story. I kid you not. And she would literally be like, hey, baby. Hey, baby. How y'all doing? How's your mama? Now you gotta understand the snuff juice is dripping down the side of just it's and she'd be like, come here, give me a kiss. Give me a kiss, baby. Give me a kiss. And I'm like, no, nobody want to kiss her. I hug her reluctantly, kiss on the forehead. So Glenn called my grandmother by her name, Pearl. So it's actually his great aunt. And so at this particular point, he was like, hey, Pearl, how you, hey. And she would always get real serious when she talked to Glenn because we were the favorites, unfortunately. My sister and we were the favorites.
Oh,
and
the rest of the family.
Yeah, they would be like, yup, that's true. Anybody that was there, they would know. Okay. So anyway, I don't think we knew at the time that we was the favorites, but she would switch gears. Okay. Go. I need you to go to the store for me, Glenn. I need you to go to the store. Now she ain't, hey, baby, and none of that. Okay, what you need to get? I need you to go get me some Pepsi.
Oh gosh.
And I need you to get me some more snuff. A 6-pack of Pepsi and some more snuff.
You're gonna start drooling.
And so hurry up, run up to the store and do it. So he runs up to the store. He comes back. We sitting there talking. 30 minutes later, he comes back and now Glenn stuttered. He had a stammer when he talked. Oh, Lord. This is real. So he was like,
this is not politically correct, people.
Pearl. That's how he would say it 50 times. And she would like, huh? He said they didn't have no more snuff. They didn't have no more snuff. And she said, cigarettes? Cigarettes? Who told you to get cigarettes? That's what my sister put on IG. She was like, sick. So that's an inside joke for us. My grandmother would switch snuff, and that wasn't funny to you because you wasn't there. No. And so hopefully, but anyway, my sister got a chuckle out of it. She said she's rolling on the floor laughing out loud. So at any rate, guys, what I know, funny story that that happened in your family, put it in the chat. Funny stories, crazy stuff. Is that better? You want to go to the bathroom and look at it? Is it really hurting? I don't see anything. Okay. She did that just to break the thing. Ain't nothing in her eye. See that, Bama? Y'all see that? So listen, y'all see how her timing is just off. So I got a question for you guys. What makes you laugh? What makes you laugh? Is it your friends? Is it your family? Who's that person that makes you laugh? They can be famous. They don't have to be famous. But when you get in a room with them, it's just like, you ever had that person where you start laughing when you know you're going to go see them? You're on your way to see them. Maybe y'all ain't seen each other all day long. And you know it's getting ready. For me, it's my son. My son, Justin, is a nut. He can text me a meme that means something between he and I. Of some sports figure, if it's, somebody clowning Michael Jordan or whatever it is. And I can start laughing right now just based on something I think he gonna do. Oh, who's that person in your life? Put their name in the chat. Put their name in the chat. My sister said you. Sharia is pointing fingers. My friends. Nikkei said you guys do. Right. Battling with my battling with my dad told him grass and I'm a lawnmower. Ended in seconds. It's a family story. No, I get it. Yes, Justin is just like you. That's my
Right.
sister saying Justin is just like me.
Right,
Her daughter cracks me up. LaRonda was on live and she was catching her daughter mimicking old school gospel singers.
Oh yeah, laying in the
that
bed.
was hilarious, LaRonda. Y'all was laying in the bed and it was just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, you started to say something.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that was one of the things. Like even when we first met, and we were friends.
Yeah,
And
real friends.
Just
platonic,
friends, just friends. I ain't like him, he ain't like me.
Not like that
at all.
Yeah,
and we would go and just go have, I don't know why we would go and have dessert and coffee.
Yeah,
after work in the evenings.
Yeah.
And we would just meet and just sit and talk for hours and hours and.
That's because my checkbook wasn't right. My money wasn't all the way right. I was on the come up, and then after we got married, I came up. You wasn't on the come up. You was on the come. You was our. That's another story. We ain't talking about that. Wait a minute. Hold up. I was what? What? What?
No, you had wined and dined everybody else, and you.
I was broke by the time
you wasn't broke. You just wasn't in that space.
I wasn't trying.
I mean, but we were friends.
Cherie's got this story that I've never taken her to Roots Chris. Don't get her started. I mean,
or the palm.
And I have these
still
stories.
Owes me, and y'all can hold him accountable.
I had these stories about people that I was trying to get with,
and he never taken.
But when I met her, I wasn't trying to get with her. We was just friends.
21 years.
So I wasn't trying to roll out the rig.
And I still ain't been to the palm and ain't been to Roots Chris. I'm just saying.
She said 20.
I'm just saying.
Oh Lord, she got the. She's grabbing air, guys. She's grabbing air. You know what that means. That means that I'm about to get my anus whooped. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I digress.
I'm
mad
story.
I made you tell that story.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
So, but we would just sit and talk and have coffee and dessert and would talk for hours. And I don't know. I mean, it wasn't like he was being funny, but there was something about his persona, I would just be sitting there cracking up.
Cherie laughed at more stuff I said, and I used to think, I mean, it used to gas me up a little bit.
But
like, I'm like, I can't be that funny. The only other person that laughed uncontrollably around me based on almost anything I did was my sister. My sister Candace. Now, I got 7 sisters, by the way, guys. That, too, is a whole nother story. Mm-hmm. However, when I would say stuff, I could get my sister to crack up, like, in the craziest of times.
So that was it. You never told me that.
I've never told you that?
I never knew that was it. That's why.
What happened? I'm sorry, I missed that one.
That's why I was the one.
That's why you was the one for me?
Yeah.
Without the palm and Roots Chris. I booked her.
You still owe me the palm.
I booked the Chris said no palm. No palm. Right. Chris, don't start. Because Chris is a romantic. I can't. Yeah. I'm saying it on the front end. I can't compete with Chris. I can't compete with Chris on that romantic thing. This brother got words. I mean, he can write poetry just like, I think he can freestyle poetry. I don't know if that's a thing, but he can do that. I don't want to talk about that. Okay, I'm sorry. But the laughter. You thought I was hilarious.
Right, we would just sit and talk. And for me, because, I talked earlier about, I've struggled with depression for as long as I can remember. I had never really laughed like that in my life. I had been through so much, had gone through so many things, and I was in a season of healing at that time when we met. And it was the first time that I opened up and was able to, it's like you ever have like a really good cry and you just feel like you've let everything go. That's what laughter was for me in that season. It was like I was coming out of my second marriage had just ended, had just gone through some other traumatic stuff. Yeah. And I was in a place where I just really was trying to heal. I was getting myself together spiritually. Yeah. And it was healing for me. She was looking for Jesus. It was a situation. It was healing for me in that season. And it was like, I mean, I can't even remember. It's not, like I said, he wasn't telling jokes.
No, we would just talk and she would just bust out laughing. So when we asked that question, who's that person in your life? Nikkei said her son. Chris said Deirdre. I know that's right. LaRon said my daughter cracks me up. Nikkei said her twins when they try to do a Nigerian accent. Right. It's like do that accent. Right. Who else? Somebody else said something. But I'm telling you guys, you better stop your game. You better step up your game after Corona. All right, Candace. Listen. And then LaRonda on here talking about, oh yeah, he gonna take you out after the quarantine. Mm-hmm. I'm sure gonna do it. But now, in my defense, because I'm gonna need to defend me, because I gotta be an advocate for myself. We have ordered more good food during this coronavirus than we probably have in terms of actually going, because we some homebodies for real. And we do our date nights, but we've been consistent. I've been consistent with that, bro. Don't look at me all side-eyed like that, babe.
You have been, and it's just
tell the truth and shame the devil.
Those of you that follow me, I was on a weight loss journey, and I've gained it all back because of all of the good food that we've had. And
I did too. So we got to do better. We got to do better.
But
so
that's
a whole nother live, right? So yes, I'm
trying to get back fit.
I am going to do better. So Cherie, let me ask you a question. Let's switch gears for a quick second, because we got people laughing, thinking about, nostalgic stuff. They're folks, especially in this quarantine situation. There's some people right now who are battling with their thoughts, and they're battling with, trying to stay in a place of positivity. I think one of the biggest mistakes I used to make was thinking that depression was all about just get your attitude right. If you just if you just get your attitude right, you'll be fine.
Right.
And it's more than that. It's a thing.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about how you were able to use things like laughter to navigate that space and be able to still deal, because right now you still go through your moments. I mean, it's times where I know, okay, she's teetering. She's on that edge where you want to slip off into, and it don't even have to be a real event necessarily going on.
Right.
It can just be your thoughts doing that to you. Talk to you about some techniques and things that you've done. And guys, we're an advocate for mental health. We're not professionals, obviously, but we support professionals. We will go, I'll go lay on the couch in a heartbeat and get an appointment with a therapist in a heartbeat, and so will Cherie. But there are things that you learn by going through that process that helps you to be able to deal, especially in times like this. So talk to us a little bit about your process a little bit.
Right. I think that one thing is that being aware of where you are, knowing your moods, knowing, feeling yourself when you feel like, things getting a little heavy, it's getting a little, I'm starting to feel a little down. I think it's the first thing, because if you don't recognize it, it's very hard to be proactive. And so, and one thing I want to say this on the front: if you are suffering from depression, if you're suffering from anxiety, please go see a professional. Stop with all of the, Black people. We don't, we're famous. We don't want to go see. We don't want to go see counselors. We don't want to go get help. It doesn't mean that it's you're crazy. Depression, anxiety, a lot of mental health, some of it is associated with, it's a physiological reason. There's a actual chemical imbalance in your body sometimes. And depression is more than just you feel sad. And I think a lot of people, they'll feel like, everybody gets sad. Yeah, everybody gets sad. Everybody has depressive moments. Everybody experiences depressive moments, but everybody doesn't suffer from clinical depression.
Got it.
And you need to be able to identify, because clinical depression is something that, like I've been diagnosed with clinical depression. This is something I'm going to struggle with the rest of my life. There's not anything that's going to make it necessarily go away. Yes, prayer helps. Yes, even when I've been on medication, that helps. But it's something I'm going to struggle with all of my life, because there's a chemical imbalance. So being aware of what you're really dealing with is key, number one. But then once you realize that, okay, so I am, even if you're just going through a depressive period, you're having some down thoughts or whatever, knowing things that can get you out of, if you know that laughter is something that helps to release that stress, that causes you can change your mood.
Do that.
Go watch a funny movie. Do something fun. If exercise helps, exercise is a great way to get to change. It affects your mood, because it also increases your endorphins. Anything that will increase your endorphins, we all grown on here, sex. Will increase your endorphins.
I know that's right.
And can be a release. Anything, if you think about,
we can go do that right after this is over.
What are those things that are stress relievers?
I know somebody said we
you?
didn't need to know all that. That was too much.
What are those things that are stress relievers for you? Whatever those are things that you can use to help change your mood. Now, I want you to stick with things that are healthy.
Yeah.
And that's rely on unhealthy substances like
Yes.
alcohol or recreational drugs, because yes, those affect your mood, but those have long lasting effects that are not positive.
Right.
And so you want to stay on the positive end. And so, if it's exercise, if it's laughter, if it's spending time with family, if it's being around your friends, if it's unplugging, you may need to, practicing self-care. If you need to go take a bubble bath,
that's huge,
and relax and just get you a Calgon moment. Going to well, you can't go get your nails
a Calgon moment. You old.
You old too. They know what I'm talking about.
Calgon, you gotta explain for the new people.
Go take a bubble bath.
Right, they say Calgon moment.
Hot bubble bath.
You got somebody Googling Calgon right now. You do know that, right?
Or you can do it Epsom salt, the
right.
eucalyptus Epsom salt bath. Get you a nice glass of wine.
Whatever you
sit
do.
In the tub, whatever. Just get you a moment to relax. Whatever you do to relax. Those are the things that you do that will help you. Right. It's a mental tune-up. You got to do whatever you got to do for yourself. But you got to know what are those things. And if you're like me, I can honestly say before Glenn and I met, I didn't really know what those things were. I was a single parent. I was always running. I was stressed out. Mm-hmm. I didn't really have any releases. And once I started finding what those releases are.
Yep, it changed everything.
Like, I'll go for a walk if I start feeling myself get down.
Candace just said walking, friends and family, especially my mommy. No, right. I get it. There are times where, you and I will just go out on a walk. And I know, for me, it's actually relieving stress every single step I take at that point. And it's really, really good. See, she's starting to laugh. Now, I don't even know what in the world we
watched the Bobby Brown movie. You just said every little step. I was like,
every little step I take, yeah, that Bobby Brown movie was off the chain. My sister said playing cards. Guys, do me a favor. Put in the chat, what do you do to relieve stress? What do you do to break up the monotony? What do you do? And we're talking positive, healthy things maybe people hadn't thought of. What are some strategies and some things that work for you?
Right. I'll just break out and start dancing.
Yeah, Cherie will dance in a whole minute. And listen, that's a whole thing.
A dance break. Just that's in the middle of nothing.
Yes. We've got a couple of people who've experienced, and I kind of want to speak to that a little bit. The person who is not struggling with depression, going through with the person that is. Let's talk about that for a quick second.
Right.
And maybe we'll broach this next week again, but May is Mental Health Month, and it made me think about this. I know there are several people. Carla lost an ex-husband to suicide. LaRonda, the same thing. There are people who've gone through this stuff, guys, and for whatever reason, we're experiencing some technical difficulties, by the way, with Instagram. I don't know why. But my signal is a little sketchy over there. I apologize, guys. If y'all want to hop over to YouTube Live, we're there. Breakfast with the Brookses on YouTube. Make sure that you do that. By the way,
Candace Massages.
The link is in the description for you guys on Instagram. Go to that. YouTube. Yeah, to go ahead and subscribe to that channel if y'all get disconnected. Deep tissue massages are absolutely a go-to move for me.
Yes.
My sister is a masseuse. And when she said deep tissue, when she has actually studied, trained, she doesn't do it anymore. But at one point, she did that for a living. And what was funny is that there were times where I'd go over the house and we'd get to talking, and she said, "You want me to rub your back?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And man, let me tell you something right now. We'd just be sitting at the dining room table, and she'd see that I'm tense or whatever, and come over and just start rubbing on my back, but she would know the points and place to hit to be able to just release that stress. And I think that unfortunately what most people don't do is they do not practice what works.
Right.
Tori, good to see you on the thing.
Yeah, she says sing.
Hey y'all, listen, real talk, sidebar, real quick. Y'all need to go follow the Fatherless Generation Foundation, number one, on YouTube. Number two, if Tori is on Instagram, the Fatherless Generation. Tori is an incredible songstress.
Yes.
The girl's got a beautiful voice. Tori, I was just sitting here going back this time last year. We was hanging out with you and Varric in Fort Lauderdale because we were getting ready to go on we had just got back from a cruise. Came in Miami, but we flew out of Fort Lauderdale. That's where they live. And we got a chance to hang out with them. I'm still trying to find that place that do them. What was that? That it was a frozen wine. That they did.
That was at the.
It was at the
hotel
hotel that Vark works at, and I couldn't. Oh my God! Whoo! Listen. That was like Lay's potato chips. You couldn't have just one.
Lord Jesus.
I was like, there was almost like a frozen margarita like consistency, but it was wine.
But it was wine.
Yeah, rosé or something they called it. Lord have mercy. I was like, I've never found one since. But anyway, that's my little sidebar. So Dr. Tori Barton, Jay Barton, you guys make sure y'all follow her. But singing and her husband just happens to be a saxophonist, and he absolutely Frozen Rosé. That's what it's called. Yes, and he's an absolutely incredibly talented musician. But that's a great stress reliever. Yes. Sometimes for me, it's just listening to music. Yeah, there are times where I will pull up some old school music and some things that just reminds me of fun times, and I'll listen to it randomly throughout the day or whatever the case may be. The way I got my office set up, I've got this over here and that playing over there, just to be able to keep my mood straight. So. Right.
Welcome, lady. That's Teresa.
That's Teresa, Lady T. Good to see you, Teresa. Good to see you, Nicole. I think it is. Good to see you.
Hi, welcome on Instagram.
Or is that Nicholas? I can't.
Y'all can put
your first name, just so I can make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly on Instagram.
But we were transitioning a little bit, and we're talking about for how is it for the spouse or the significant other of a person that's struggling with depression. And I think we probably want to get into that a little more next week. Yeah. I mean, I know that was challenging for you because you had never dealt with anybody. Very challenging.
I read a book that changed my whole life, but I'll talk about that next week.
And I've gone through, and I talked about this earlier, I've had some really low moments. Total transparency, I've been hospitalized before. I've been on medication before. Luckily, I have never successfully committed suicide. I wouldn't be here. But it's a real thing. When people fall into those deep, dark moments, those deep depressions, it's hard for them to pull themselves out sometimes. And that's why I am a strong believer that self-awareness is key. If you struggle with depression, like I said, I've learned to manage my depression because I'm aware. I'm aware of my triggers. I'm aware of the things that will cause me to go there, and I'm able to reach out and get help before it gets to that point. It wasn't always that way. There were times when it just got so bad that, I didn't know how to reach out, or I didn't want to reach out. And so, I'm at a place now that, I know my triggers. I know the things that are taking me there, and I'm very aware of it. And because it's gotten easier, honestly, because you do understand, you've gained some understanding now, and now I can talk to him. Because before I would tell him, early in our relationship, I'd say, hey, I'm feeling depressed. I'm not feeling. I'd say these trigger words or throw out these little phrases, and they didn't mean anything to him. He didn't understand really what that meant. But now I can have a conversation with him. He's like, hold up, wait a minute, hold up. So where exactly are you? We're able to really talk, and that is a stress relief because I don't feel like I'm going through it by myself. And that's one of the biggest things for people that struggle with depression. You feel like you're alone. You can be in a room full of people. Right. You can be, you may have the greatest relationship with your spouse, but you're going through that by yourself. And in most cases, it's not that they don't care. Yeah. But most people if they've never dealt with mental illness, if they've never dealt with depression, they don't really understand the depths. Yeah. And unfortunately, most people don't take the time. When you get married, nobody tells you need to learn about this. I mean, even if your family member got a disease, most people, the other person doesn't delve into and really learn and understand and study that. And that's one thing that I'm super appreciative of you, is that you took the time to study, to understand. No, you'll never understand to the depths of exactly what I go through.
Right. Is that Rhonda?
But you...
What's up, girl? I think that's... See, I never know how to pronounce your name on Instagram, whatever that means. So we school.
Cool.
Is that what that is? Yes. See, I'm slow, y'all. She sews, and it's cool. KOLL, like cool in the game. Yes. Lord, you see how much that was heavy lifting for me, Rhonda. Do me a favor, put your government name. People on Instagram be killing me talking about Pookie 92. That was when you was in high school. Don't nobody know that. But anyway.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
So
no,
I
no, you.
yeah, I was saying that
my pleasure, babe. I get it.
You took the time to
I'm so
understand.
random today.
Yes, you took the time to understand to the best that you could.
Right.
Enough that you're able to help me along this journey.
Yeah, and I think that for me, and here's one thing I do want to say, and it's 8:40. We're gonna jump off of here in a little bit, but guys, one of the things that I have learned is that people who suffer from depression often suffer in silence. Mm-hmm. And the challenge is that the people around them, and I'm going to say it this way, from my experience, we don't see you. Mm-hmm. And it's not because we don't want to see you. What you go through is invisible to us.
Right.
And I need y'all to understand that we don't understand. Mm-hmm. And I think that it makes it worse for you when you're going through that, because you already are suffering in silence, and the people that love you most don't see you. Right. And it's not because they don't want to see you. It's because they don't know how. You're invisible. They don't have the right kind of lens. It's like they need corrective lenses.
Right. And
they don't know how to, their sight is off and they don't know how to see.
Right. It's an invisible battle. Like if you think about like now what we're dealing with this coronavirus, you don't see coronavirus. Right. But it's around. Right. It's around us all. And we're all dealing with it. And this is the other point. What we're dealing with now, this season that we're going through, this quarantine, know that this is traumatic to everyone. Mm-hmm. And so be aware of where you are mentally. Be aware of your moods. Talk about how you're feeling. Even though we're isolated, don't be completely isolated. Reach out to people. Right. Don't not talk to people. Let people know what's going on with you. There are more people now that are going to be struggling with depression. It may not be clinical depression, but depressive thoughts because of this season of isolation. Because we're not accustomed to this. Because, you go outside, you're feeling anxious. I know, like, once a week, we'll go out to go get supplies.
I hate going to get supplies.
And it's like I come back in and I'm feeling anxious. I feel like the air, just breathing the air outside.
Like, it's a situation, and I know that that's anxiety.
Right, but this is not normal. This is traumatic to everybody. And so be conscious of that. Reach out to people that you know are home alone, especially to singles, to older family members. Call them, video chat with them once a week, something. Just keep in touch with them, because this is a difficult season that people are going through. And everybody is going to have some challenges. Mm-hmm. It's going to be months, maybe years from now, that we're going to see increases in people struggling with depression. They've talked about, suicide rates are going up. Domestic violence rates are going up right now because of the stress that people are undergoing 100%. Right now. So please, 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 if you're feeling some type of way, and I hate that term, but if you're feeling, not yourself, if you feel, like this is getting really heavy, if you're starting to feel, down, reach out to somebody. Please talk to somebody. Right.
Real quick, Nicole, and I apologize, Instagram. I have no idea what's going on with the technical stuff. Again, if you're on Instagram and you want to connect with us on on YouTube, go to the link in the description. Click the link. That's the live link for us on YouTube, and you can view us there. And it seems like the signal is much better on YouTube. Why that is, and the devices are sitting right next to each other, I have no idea. But Nicole said something that I think needs repeating. Yes. Especially in the Black and brown communities, convos on mental health is something scary. Yeah. Chris said it this way. Chris said the same thing or something really, really similar. And he said that, sometimes it's the stigma of depression that keeps people from being transparent. Next week, I want to talk about that. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about dispelling the myth. Yes. I want to bring a spotlight to the subject. And let me just say this. I know that tide is turning. I don't think it's turning fast enough. Right. I know that, we've come to a place where, Black people can get on a live show and transparently share about what they're going through. And Cherie doesn't have a problem doing that. So much so, she put it in a book. But here's what I think. I think that we can't talk about that stuff enough. Right. And the reason why is because if you've got a mass amount of people, particularly in our communities, struggling with this. Here's the problem. Systemically, it's not going to change until we really, really drown the problem out. Does that make sense? And so the more voices on it, the more we can talk about it, I think it'll help. But I got some real theories and thoughts around why is this more prevalent in the Black and brown communities, meaning this idea, this stigma of not, being able to talk about it, not being willing to talk about it, not knowing how to talk about it. Matter of fact, quite frankly, not even identifying that it is even something to even talk about.
Because we all got that crazy uncle, crazy aunt in the family. Y'all be like, y'all know they crazy.
Y'all know they ain't right.
Yeah, no, they
look. When we was growing up, the ladies in our family be like, "Don't sit on Uncle So and So's lap. Don't let him hug you. Just wave."
But don't nobody talk about.
But don't nobody say
deal
why.
With the issue. Nobody.
Don't nobody talk about what's is his leg, bro? I mean, you're 5. Right. You don't know what that means. Right. You just hi, Uncle So and So.
Right. There's nothing. It's just like, with just health issues. In the Black and brown communities, particularly our men, they won't go to the doctor. They won't seek help. And it's like, that is not
praying
a sign
for you, Nicole. Definitely.
That is not a sign of weakness. Mm-hmm. That is taking care of yourself.
100%.
And I think that we for so long have believed that, if we let anybody know that there's something wrong with us, that they're going to take advantage of that weakness. It's not a weakness. You gain strength when you can acknowledge what you're dealing with, and you take ownership of it, and you take control of it versus letting it take control of you.
Yeah, LaRonda said it goes back 100 years. LaRonda, I'm gonna need you to put a picture of yourself up on YouTube because you be commenting like crazy. Put the picture of your book. LaRonda is an author. She wrote a book called The ABCs of Gratitude. Yes. She has a lot of wisdom on a lot of the subjects. She struggled with a spouse, an ex-spouse who ended his life and that kind of stuff. And so this stuff is real. Yeah. Chris said, Chris, I appreciate all the comments, bro. Really, he says many men don't have societal permission to show or share pain without being tagged as weak. Facts. And I'm going to say most men. But that comes from somewhere.
But that's their perception. And I know that
when you say that's their perception, what do you mean?
That's the perception that men have. I honestly do not believe that today.
So let me make sure I'm clear on what you're just saying. Are you saying men?
No, I believe that men today perceive that that's the truth today. That may have been the truth in the past.
That's all I want to ask.
I know.
Is that statement true?
It may have been in the past, but I don't believe that it is today.
I disagree.
You do? Okay.
I absolutely disagree. I think the tide is being stemmed, but as a man, I promise you, there is this underlying tone that says when you start sharing too much about your inability to handle, there is a weakness that is perceived of you that gets taken out on you without even being talked about in society as a whole. And we can get into that. Okay. But I disagree with that. I think it is absolutely true. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to shut you down.
No, that's fine. But I can say for me personally, I think that it shows a lot of strength. Personally,
it absolutely does.
When you take control of it, I don't think that it makes you weak at all. I think you're weaker when you lay down.
I'm not arguing that at all.
Right, that's no different than you laying down. You find out you got a disease and you're going to just lay back and just let it. Okay, I'm not going to fight it. Mm-hmm. To me, that's a sign of weakness to me versus you taking control of it. Yeah. But I understand what he's saying, and I understand where that comes from. But like you said, it's time to change that.
No, and listen, we are on the same page, babe. 100%. It is time to change. Let me. If y'all agree that it's time that we stem the tide of mental health and the perception of it, both in men and women, particularly in the Black and brown community, put it's time for a change in the chat. Yes. Put that in the chat. It's time for a change. Put that in the chat. It's time for a change. Put that in the chat. If you agree that that's true. Cherie is dead on it. You are absolutely right. It's time for a change. I do think that it's sort of like racism in a lot of regard. Have we made strides? Yes. Is it still there? Absolutely. Does it still need to be dealt with? 100%. Does that make sense? And so I want to make sure that we're clear. So let's kind of talk about that throughout the week. We're going to read up on some stuff. And by the way, the book that I read, the name of it escapes me. It was years ago that I read it. But I can see the cover. Yeah, it's actually on my phone. And because I'm using my phone for Instagram, I can't get to it.
We'll have the name next
week. So we'll have the name for it next week. I think Tori asked that question earlier. I did see the question, Tori. But well, let's talk about that. May is the month for mental health awareness. And so every week, hopefully in the month of May, we'll talk a little bit about some of the different things that we've gone through, not only from you having gone through and suffered and continue to be challenged by it, but also from my perspective of growing with someone who is there. And I went through some really, really tough times. I went through a season of blaming myself. When Cherie was hospitalized a number of years ago, a lot of people don't know. People in our immediate family and our immediate circles knew, but we weren't on social media like that back then.
Right.
One. And so we never really talked about that. And so maybe we'll kind of revisit what we were going through, how we navigated through it, because I think that was a pivotal point in our life. That was 10 years ago, maybe. That was in 2009.
Yeah.
This is 2020.
Yeah.
That was 11 years ago. And so I think that point in our marriage was a crossroad, babe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Like, we was really at that place where it's like, you know what? I know for me, I didn't know if I wanted to do this anymore because of the work I had to do to figure out where you were at and how to ride with you. And I know you were like, you certainly had enough reasons to say, I'm done. And it wasn't anything like infidelity or anything like that. It was just life and trying to navigate this. And to be really honest, guys, some people are going through stuff where, and we'll talk about this a little bit as we go, but many of you all are carrying burdens
that you shouldn't be.
Guys, I'm going to leave y'all with this. There is a difference between a burden and a load. Put that in the chat. A burden versus a load. Put that in the chat. A burden versus a load. There's a huge difference between a burden and a load. You're supposed to carry your load. That is your lot. That is something that you were built for. When God says he won't put on more than you can bear, he's talking about your load.
Not the burden.
He's not talking about your burden, because where burdens are concerned, he says, cast your burdens upon me. Because when you do that, I will give you rest. Many of you guys are walking around with burdens that you are bearing that are not designed for you to carry whatsoever. And they are absolutely crushing you, crushing the life out of you, crushing the life out of your family.
Right.
And that was where we were at. And we had to kind of chop that boulder up and ground it up and get most of it out of our life. And what little bit we had left, we could carry that.
Right.
And but we want to walk y'all through how we figured that out. Candace jumped over onto YouTube. I guess they abandoned Instagram. I don't know what's going on with Instagram. The good news is that the link is in the description. If you're catching this by replay and you want to see the full replay without the technical problems, click the link and go over to YouTube. Check out the replay. But guys, that's it. That's all we got for today. Carla said, awesome. There's a difference between yes. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate everybody for chiming in today. If you got value out of this, do me a favor, share it with somebody. If this helped you on any level, do me a favor, tag some friends. If you follow us on Facebook, I just put a little bit of a blurb, me acting crazy this morning, but it's got the link to our channel on our Facebook page. Certainly share that out. It's at Glenn P. Brooks Jr., which is my personal page, and that's it. You smell good. What you got on? Is that your hair?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Y'all see how random? You see how I made her smile though? Look at you. See?
But get out and laugh. Enjoy life. Even though we're cooped up or we're safe inside.
Let's call it that.
We're safe inside.
Let's say that. Yes.
But do something fun. Play a board game. Play some cards. Have a dance party.
Do something.
Go for a walk. Do something. Laugh.
Tori, I know you putting the hearts up. I need a session. Varg playing, you singing,
need to hear your
a
beautiful
lounge
voice.
environment, Friday night-ish, date night kind of experience.
Open to the world.
Y'all doing some covers, open to the world. I will tag that out every place I can go, and we will all sit together. I'm gonna find me a way to make me some rosé, and I will sit there and listen to you sing and your husband play. And I'm gonna challenge y'all to do that because we all need some help. Laughter is good for the soul. No, it's a good medicine. No question about it. Yes. Guys, listen. Hopefully, y'all got some value out of this thing today. This is Breakfast with the Brookses. I'm Glenn P. Brooks Jr., that lovely light-skinned young lady,
Cherie Brooks Jr.
And at the end of the day, here's what I'm gonna promise you: you cannot get to any place of significance by yourself. Why? Because we all need some help. Y'all be good. We'll talk soon.
Have a good day.